I'm not your gossip girl, I'm the headline. Truth with a curve, baby, redefine. Welcome to the thirst trap. All the truth looks good in a tight wrap. We talk love, power, soul, and sin. Turn the world on, let the light in. Yeah, the thirst trap news. You'll drink it up, it's the real you. They between thirst real news, where every headline's a revelation.
Hey, I am back. We tried to go on an hour earlier at the 9 o'clock time frame that you guys like, but they started doing work on the internet in the area, so it took them about an hour to fix it. Yeah, I just want to hang on and show production something. See how I'm like to the right of the screen? Oh, okay. There we go. He got it. All right. Yeah, that was annoying. So I just watched the video with Sean Ryan and Charlie Kirk's head of security. It's hard to say. I want to believe him, but to be quite honest with you, it left me with like more questions. What he disputed was that it was done with any other gun than a 30-06, 306. And if any of you hunt, you've probably used this caliber ammo before. What he said was that an autopsy was done right away. They were going to do the autopsy the next day, but he wanted it done immediately to combat conspiracy theories. Well, the doctor that was in the OR with Charlie said if Charlie had gotten shot in the OR on the table, he wouldn't have been able to save Charlie. They were able to get a heartbeat back because they said Charlie had a really strong heart. Here's why there's no exit wound out the back. And I was just on the Break the Machine podcast on Rumble a few days ago, and they're both, or one of them at least, is ex-military. I've hunted a lot. I haven't seen crazy things happen with using calibers that high. I mean, you see what you would expect, a nice, good, sizable blowout wound. Is the computer somewhere different? It's like something's off with me looking. There we go. I don't know. I know you got to see it, but so anyway, the bullet went in his neck, and this is why it didn't come out. Now, this I believe because I've held human vertebrae in my hands before, and they're very dense bone. The little ends feel fragile, but the center of the vertebrae that I guess holds the spinal. I don't know if the spinal column is wedged between, and I got over 100% in anatomy. I can't believe I forgot this. But what I do remember about the bones in the neck is especially because of how many there are, they're like, there's a bunch of little smaller bones in the front, and then you have your vertebrae right behind the smaller bones. Well, the bullet hit the vertebrae in the top, right below the skull, traveled down the vertebrae to the C6, which is straight back here. Right here in the soft spot, it's straight back there. And the bullet actually fragmented on the C6 because what I was going to say about the vertebrae, as the vertebrae go down your spine, they get thicker and denser and more hard. So it traveled pretty easily through the first few vertebrae, and then the C6 is what stopped it. And because it had already traveled through several other bones, it fragmented at this when it hit the C6. Now that part I believe. Now, when he was talking about the blame game onto the police chief, that's where I started to perk up, because he's blaming the police chief as to why the roof wasn't covered. I don't accept that as a security team. I've had security detail myself, and I gotta tell you, you gotta have every area covered. He said his last communication with the police chief was, "I got you covered." What does "I got you covered" mean, though? Does that mean you're gonna be there, or I'm gonna have someone cover that area? And he never followed up with "I got you covered." So he's saying he was under the belief that the police chief was going to have that roof area covered. And that's the whole blame game thing going on. He said they weren't allowed to have drones. The police department could have had drones, but they didn't. He also wants to know why the kill zone was reconstructed. He's like, instead of people talking shit, why don't you put in a FOIA application and get the information records? Okay, why don't you do that too? If your company's being blamed for this, you can get a FOIA records too, buddy. But he said ultimately that's not his responsibility. I'm sorry, if I was head of security where my client got killed, I would make it my responsibility to get a FOIA request, especially if people are blaming my security company. I personally would want to know what the fuck was going on that I didn't know about, so I could at least have a legitimate way to stand my ground, or at least explain what I could have done better. But, I'm using common sense, and we know common sense isn't so common. All right, let's see. We got Jack in the chat. Andy Graphics is back. Emmanuel's here. Boz. Podster, Marty Wilson, Patricia. Hey, Patricia. Kirk, you've been Jeffreyed. You've been Jeffreyed. Are you friends with You Got Diddled? Raymond Francis, Silva, Florida, 504. Scott Barnes, Knuckles, Head Pete. All right. Okay. So, one more time for you. Third time's charm, right? What I got on the menu for you is Joe Rogan blasts Israel. Keep my Lord's name out of your mouth. Proof of Trump grabbing a pussy. Party switch. House Bill 5736. Bunch of fuck faces. Burning the Israeli flag, but with Slayer. Sabatini keeps talking more shit. Christians taking Dearborn, Nigeria fucking blows. And if I ever met Jasmine Crockett would be the dumbest person I ever met. Epstein files released and people start resigning all of a sudden. And last but not least, the White House is wilding out. Jack said, "Hi, gorgeous." Hello, Jack. How you doing today, sir? Andy Graphics. Hello, good evening. All right. Well, I'm glad the live... well, let's cross our fingers, because this is where the last two live streams would not work. So here we go.
Joe Rogan is about to show you why I like independent media better than mainstream media. Look at what he says about Israel.
Yeah, October 7th was awful. Absolutely.
Obviously.
Terrible attack.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what they've done to Gaza is insane.
It's insane.
And if you can't see that, if you can't say that, and your response is, Israel has the right to defend itself. Like, what are you talking about?
This is an old clip, but that's how I felt during the Super Bowl 2 years ago when we were all distracted with the Super Bowl. Israel freaking bombed Gaza after they told them all to go to the South Point and that it would be a no war zone and be a safe zone, and they bombed them all in the cover of darkness. And I was livid because you know whose name is printed on those bombs? The US of A.
Against what? Children?
Right.
Against women and children that are getting blown apart? Against aid workers that are getting killed? It's insane. And no one wants to talk about it. And if you do talk about it, you're anti-Semitic, which is so strange. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they wrangled that.
In the old days, if you were on cable news, didn't matter if you're right, left, middle, nothing mattered. If you said that about Israel, you were going to get fired and you were going to get called an anti-Semite and your career was going to be over. The fact that truth is breaking out in American media is amazing, to the point, Jordan, where Rogan started questioning 1948. I mean, that is a different level of third rail that you can't touch, because there's the mythology around 1948 that they came in and there was no people there at all, and then when the Israelis declared a state, the Palestinians decided to go on a picnic and never came back. No, they were driven from their homes.
Yes, I remember.
That's what happened.
I
It might make you
remember
uncomfortable.
that I don't like the Young Turks, but he's not wrong. I remember, like when I was little, asking my dad, trying to understand Desert Storm and all that stuff, and just him talking to me about politics and religion and stuff. He told me, he educated me about the fact that the Palestinians were driven from their homes. I believe it was in the 50s, I want to say. Could be wrong, but I think it was in the 50s. Maybe right before that.
And you might not want to hear that, but that's definitely what happened. The Israelis.
What's up, Ari? Thank you. This is my unruly natural hair with no product in it, no frizz control, no nothing. It's just a fuzz ball. I look like a sheep. I hate my hair. It's much curlier than this, but I did get like some sort of smoothing treatment back in April, and my curled pattern's just not ever returned. But I typically use, this would be a fro. This would be a big fro if I didn't have that treatment. This is like my Diana Ross hair. That's what my dad would call it. But he was like always like, you should be proud of your Diana Ross hair. So my daddy, the white boy, was obsessed with my hair.
Drove the Palestinians out. That's why it's called the Nakba. And yes, they murdered a lot of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were having a picnic and had a slight disagreement and moved their families' houses, moved where they had lived for hundreds, some of them thousands of years.
Of course, the English drew the borders. We are living in the Anglo-Saxon world power. In the book of Isaiah in the Bible, we are in the feet of the image. Or it might be Daniel's prophecy. It was one of the lesser prophets, but yeah. So English drew the borders. So when I ran for office, I learned that our country is a corporation, not a country, and it's owned by Britain. And the world power, Britain, would be the ones to determine the pecking order. That is true, Jack.
No, they were driven from there. So that doesn't mean that Israel shouldn't exist today. Many, many things have happened since then, right? But the idea that Israel is the victim and that the Muslims are the terrorists and the dirty savages and the violent ones, that mythology is finally breaking on the left and the right.
Joe Rogan is about to show you why I like independent.
Yeah. Well, just a reminder. I love how Joe Rogan's able to like stay out of the fray. He does it really well by not really saying much of his opinions. Every now and then he does state his opinions, but it's just funny, like no one's going after him like the way they're going after Tucker and Candace and Nick Fuentes. Joe Rogan has like, I guess, everyone on his show, so he doesn't look partisan. Which, once I get to a point where I can have people on my show, I don't want to have just conservatives on my show. I want to have everybody on my show. Because we got to talk about shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to come to the table. All right. Welcome, Raw Trap and BMH Bear. Rob. Hey, Rob. Saw your little question about subscribers when you're going to get that lingerie. Sundays. Okay. Next video. Keep my Lord's name out your mouth.
Candace, didn't Jesus say you're supposed to love your enemies? When Jesus said that you're supposed to turn the other cheek, where have you ever turned the other cheek? When Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth, if you are a Christian, then I am the second coming of Christ.
Okay.
Here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture. The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you
She's always got a good comeback, man. She's not wrong. The Bible does not teach letting you be abused by others. God feels hatred. God feels jealousy, love. We are created in his image. There is a time to feel those things and to use those things against evil.
I'd like to dive into a little more scripture. I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
Candace, didn't...
Oh, she sizzle. She got him good with Revelation 3:9. But you know what? There's no way. Oh man. It's just it's amazing to me to see how they've been able to take over the fucking world when it comes to business. Like, they've taken over everything. I can't believe he thought he could outwit Candace Owens. She got all the wit. She was ready for him. Psh. Mike Goodwin's here. Welcome. Self's here. Scram says Oscar's here. B's here. Rad's here. And Utopia Dystopia. Interesting username. Islam is a threat to Western civilization. Yes, but we are on the topic of Israelites. That's what we were talking about. Hello, Ron. Welcome. He said, how did I get here? I don't know. How did you get here, Ron? Maybe you were watching stories and accidentally clicked my profile picture and came to my live. But welcome. We're about to go into my next video. Prepare for a good laugh. Proof of Trump grabbing a pussy.
Guys, there's a resurfaced picture of Trump that is proof of him grabbing a... So I'm going to insert the picture here.
Oh.
Guys, there's a...
There you go. Proof Trump has grabbed a pussy. Yup. First of all, I don't think Trump has to go grabbing pussy. I mean, he's just dripping with BDE and alphaness. I'm pretty sure he can get it handed to him on a silver platter with them walking over to him willingly. Yes, Daddy. What would you like, Daddy? Trump don't gotta grab no pussy. Gavin Newsom, you a pussy boy. And he is always stoned. Not judging because I smoke every day. But every time he's on camera, his eyes are bloodshot red. Maybe that's what his problem is. Maybe he should just leave it to the nighttime thing. All right. Let's listen to a black girl talk about a party switch.
I used to blindly believe the party switch narrative because it was just repeated so many times, like it was so obvious that I never really questioned it until I did. And once I did question it, I realized how absurd the entire concept of a party switch even is. So think about how polarized the Democrats and the Republicans are today. They were even more polarized back then. The Republican Party was literally started to stop the spread of slavery, and the Democrats fought to keep Black people enslaved. They started the KKK. They fought against every civil rights movement and every civil rights act that was put in front of them. And we are supposed to believe that there was some sort of back alley handshake or Freaky Friday moment where one became the other. We are so polarized today, but they were so polarized that they started a war over slavery. And we're just supposed to believe that one became the other. No, that is not what happened. What happened was the Democrats were better at messaging. So after they lost the battle to keep us enslaved, they knew that during the Great Depression, Black America was suffering. And they offered us help. They offered us assistance. They offered us welfare. They offered to give us more stuff. They offered more money if you didn't have a father in the home. Certainly because they wanted to help the Black community, not because they wanted to dismantle the family unit and make our community crumble. Definitely not. They were better at marketing, and they can.
I also had the same grievances as her. It's such hogwash. They literally are treating you just like a slave. Like, they keep you, here's your little rations, your little whatever allowance, and it's just enough to keep you not wanting to get a job or climb the ladder.
Convinced the Black community to start voting for the very party that fought to enslave them. And we fell for it because we wanted free stuff. But
yep. So they lost power with constituents. How do they get it back? Like this. Because clearly after slavery was abolished, ain't none of them going to vote for a Democrat. This is how they did it.
When they keep offering us more stuff, they are actually offering us more control. They wanted to keep control over Black America, and they knew that they could do it by shackling us to
I don't
government.
know if it's literally like they just chose Black America. What I think it is they were slaves. They're not slaves anymore. They're not going to vote for Democrats. Democrats want to stay in power. The biggest chunk of voters they lost would be the slaves. So that's how they got their votes back. Ron, I let my manager handle all the business inquiries. So yes, please message me, Ron.
Assistance by breaking down the family unit and making daddy the government instead of having a father in the home. And LBJ said, I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years, because he knew that with great messaging and great politics and actually offering stuff, that we would fall for it and we would start being willing to vote for the very party that fought to enslave us and abandon the party that fought to abolish slavery. And it's shocking that we fell for it. It's shocking that today we keep voting for the very party that fought to enslave us. And it's shocking that we allow them to lie to us every 4 years and say that they're going to help us when all they want to do is expand government, expand control, keep us reliant on them, and stop us as a community from thriving. But we keep voting for them.
Right.
The party that fought to enslave us. I want you to think about that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. She's not wrong. She's preaching 100% truth. Everything she's saying is truth. And then the byproduct of it all is that blacks are more racist than they ever have been. They hate white people more than I have ever seen in my life in the last 10 years or so, since Obama, basically. But yeah, absolutely correct. Definitely a Democrat Party plantation for sure. All right. House Bill 5736.
Wait, who allowed every form of propaganda to be disseminated to American civilians without modification as long as it was not produced or shot in the U.S.?
Oh, I just said his name.
No. President Obama? Wait, who allowed every form of propaganda?
And then what happened when Trump got elected? What did Obama do? Started Operation Arc Frost to delegitimize Trump's win by using Russia as a pawn to make it look like Russia colluded in our elections to get Donald Trump elected. And, you know, we have all those Russian internet farms, social media farms, Chinese farms, which at the time Obama was a member of the CCP. So yeah, it all tracks. It tracks. All right. Bunch of fuck faces. When one fuck face doesn't like you, they team up with another fuck face who doesn't like you. And before you know, there's a group of hating fuck faces. Funny thing is, they don't even like each other. Hashtag Libras. How many of you guys know this to be true? Isn't that funny? One thing I've learned in life is if one of your friends is shit talking another person y'all mutually know to you, they're shit talking about you to your friends. So yes, keep that in mind, friends. All right, burning the Israeli flag, but with Slayer. Oh, let that sink in. Watch this imagery.
Gang violence. Great.
What do you guys think? That's some pretty powerful imagery they just put together in that. Oh, look, we got ourselves a little troll in the chat. Jigsaw, you know nothing, you fuckface. Oh, maybe you're enjoying the show. Maybe you're just giving us a little jokey joke. Whoever's not in the room, it's the one they're picking apart. Shit, I know. Especially with women. Yeah. All right. Sabatini keeps talking more shit. I find this post of his, if you're into Florida elections, Byron Donald is positioning himself to run for governor after DeSantis. I met Byron Donalds. Not sure how I feel about him. But Anthony says that Byron gave a speech in Miami this week attacking Republican voters who want to reduce illegal immigration and visas. If Donald is elected governor, he's going to make Florida more welcome to the visa holders who are stealing our jobs. The speech was largely a thinly veiled attack on Tucker Carlson. I knew Donalds was a trash candidate who would do nothing to appease his do anything to appease his corporate donors, but I didn't realize he was going to be attacking those of us in the base of our party. When I met him, I didn't have a great taste. He acted very elitist, like he wanted to look through you, and like you weren't even there, and would speak to you if he was forced to. And it was just, I've met other people in Congress, and it just wasn't I just didn't get a good vibe. So yeah. Let's see what we got going on here. Does he grab pussy or dick? There are currently 56 million people in the U.S. on visas, and Byron wants more. That 56 million is way too high. I know, and 80% of them are taking entry-level jobs. And if you know how long the mortgage rates are now, that's not okay. We need entry-level jobs available now more than ever. All right. Y'all been hearing Dearborn in the news a lot lately. I can't believe Byron wants to do that. All right. Christians are fighting back in Dearborn, Michigan. So that was filmed by Frontlines, which I think the parent company is TPUSA. So yes, look at that. Doesn't that feel good to see people making a stand for what is good and what is right? Felix says we did have a great jobs report. Marion says that's good. All right. Nigeria fucking blows.
I'm not sure we really know how bad it is in Nigeria
My
because
people.
something big happened yesterday and no one is really talking about it. Yesterday morning at 5 a.m., 25 schoolgirls were abducted. These men went to the school, they shot and killed a security guard, and they shot and killed a teacher trying to protect the little girls. And at gunpoint, they forced someone at the school to show them where the little girls are sleeping. And while they were sleeping, they abducted them. Only 2 girls were able to escape because they hid in the bathroom, and the problem is this isn't uncommon in Nigeria. There are gangs and jihadists who target schools and they kidnap children for ransom, which means they actually like the attention, because what better way to gain attention than go to a school and kidnap children? So there's a Christian genocide happening in Nigeria, and now the little children are in danger. Right now, search teams are looking for the little girls, so I'll keep you guys updated if we get any. But keep Nigeria in your prayers and all the other countries that all of this horror.
So I played that just to bring more awareness, because Trump does watch social media. DM Perez says, why would we need H-1B visas for entry-level positions? They're not, I don't think they're applying for entry-level. I think the H-1B visa allows them to get any level job. There's just so many people getting them. Obviously, there's the higher up you are in the job chain, the less of that type of job is available. There's more entry-level jobs available. So I think it's just the jobs that they're finding available to them. Like typical McDonald's hires a ton of them. So the problem in Nigeria, what does it have to do with America? What it has to do with America is the fact that we have an Islamic takeover happening under our very noses in America. So we're using other countries that have previously been taken over by jihad extremist Islamists and showing you the course of history and how things go in those countries, because we're letting everyone know and raising awareness. That is what to expect here, because this is their doctrine. This is their belief system. So that is what it has to do with America. Because as you know, we just had Mamdani elected in New York, and that's not the first mayor. It's just the biggest city, so it's gotten a lot of attention. There's 15 other or 20 other mayors in the United States that are Islamic, and it continues to go up. It's in state houses and it's in Congress. So that is what Nigeria doesn't have anything directly to do with the U.S., but we're using what's going on in Nigeria to show what will happen here. Make sense? Okay. If I ever meet Jasmine Crockett would be the dumbest person I've ever met.
From a Jeffrey Epstein, here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly.
Yeah, I just did a video on this.
The NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee.
See how she presented that? And it's not even the same Jeffrey Epstein. And listen to her stupid response.
Zeldin there, he's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that
I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially
we got a
happen,
new
because I knew
excuse.
that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans,
she's
I
so
at least
fucking
don't go out and
dumb.
just tell lies.
You
Because it was
did
not the
just
same
tell
one,
a
that's
lie.
fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to.
But what does it matter? She's so fucking fucking dumb. I want to get in front of her face so bad. She doesn't even make no sense. She sounds like a little girl who got caught in a lie and is desperately trying to make the lie fit. What it did prove was that he took money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other Michael Jacksons and Michael Jordans.
Mislead people. Now, have I dug in to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying.
Does she think we're all as dumb as her? Yes. She thinks that people literally are buying this stupid excuse.
To make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search FEC files.
Then why do you get up there with all the confidence in the world on the House floor and sit there and accuse people of taking fucking money from him to be silent? You bitch.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted sex trafficker.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick search on FEC. So, number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein because I knew that we would need more time to really dig in.
Jack says, I have a client named Michael Jackson. Yeah. And I met somebody named Michael Jordan who was very white. All right. The Epstein files got released and people start resigning all of a sudden.
Extensive correspondence between the former Treasury Secretary under former President Bill Clinton, he's also the former Harvard president, and Epstein, including the most recent message on, I think it was the day before Epstein was arrested in 2019. And so at this point now, you are seeing some of the fallout envelop Larry Summers. He has now stepped down from the board of OpenAI, for example.
He looks evil. Ooh. So I was in a children's rights class at Harvard that I dropped out of because they were teaching everyone that the parents are the number one enemy of the children and literally compared them to Nazis. And look at this guy's face. Ugh, could you imagine him crawling on you? Rape. Yuck. No, thank you.
Student newspaper The Crimson reports that Harvard is opening an investigation into the ties between Epstein and Summers. Summers himself has said he deeply regrets the association and the correspondence, essentially, and that at this point, Zinkley and Kate, he is stepping back from his public commitments right now. Extensive.
But see, if you didn't do anything wrong, why are you stepping back? If I didn't do anything wrong, I'm gonna get more upfront. I'm going to be so aggressive about showing that. No, I'm not caught up in this. Okay, so last video, the White House is wilding out, y'all. Damn. Oh my god, they pick great music. Whoever does their videos always has a good song. Dude, they've been doing some good promo videos. They trying to, recruit. DM Perez says, that is fascistic doctrine. Yes, it is. To teach not to trust the parents. Absolutely. That government is daddy. And here's the truth about Trump and Pedo Island. They can prove Trump preferred Bill Clinton to the artist who made the painting of him wearing the blue dress while in the rocking chair. I don't understand that with bad grammar. What did you say? And here's the truth about Trump and Pedo Island. They can prove Trump preferred Bill Clinton to the artist who made the...
Epstein had that painting.
Yeah, I know. Of Bill Clinton in the blue dress, yeah. And he met the artist through Trump. Okay, so who cares? I really don't care that Clinton got blown by Monica Lewinsky and wanted to take a picture with the dress. I really don't give a fuck. Don't care. Don't care. She's not a minor. Really don't give a shit. All right, we got one more video. Surprise video.
I was trafficked by the former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO.
Oh, I know about this.
And a
and
web
I know
of
who he is.
people who are still able to do this. Because people continue to act like they care, but don't actually care. Regarding the Epstein files, I need you to please listen to me and listen to me for the entirety of this. Save this, share this, help me get this out there because this is important. Men and boys are absolutely included in all of this.
Yes,
Many
they are.
of you know my story. Many people still don't know the story because it has been pushed down over and over because people don't like to understand that men and boys have always been victims in all of this as well. The person behind Abercrombie & Fitch at the height of it all, former
one of the
CEO who I'm talking about, and I
grossest
refuse to say his name on
people.
here because he does not get to take up space in my world anymore. The person who enabled him from the beginning was Lex Wexner.
Yes. Yes.
Wexner
Oh my
is
gosh.
also the person who enabled, from the beginning, Jeffrey Epstein. As you connect more of these dots, you realize that this has been going on for a very long time.
This is also like a thing for them. When I was in the modeling industry, I ended up working for Model Search NYC. I was a scout in my 20s, and the owner of that company, who was in his 60s, started dating his girlfriend when she was 18, and we saw her until the day she turned 20 or 21, and he got rid of her. So it's like a thing. It's like what they're expected to do is have young girlfriends.
Still going on
Barely
to some
legal.
capacity because these industries, like the modeling industry, are predatory and they are
So Future, he put this story out a few years ago and nobody cared. And it was atrocious what happened to these male models. I mean, same type of stories.
front for so many other things that are not what the world wants to know. I want to speak directly to survivors right now. Please take care.
And then like for him, like it makes me just feel so bad for him because he's so like harmless. He can't harm a fly. Like you can just tell he's like delicate and all that.
Of yourself. World is using this as fodder. A lot of people that don't actually care about this are now going to use this to get engagement, to get likes, to get follows. And I'm grateful that noise is being made, but it's so sad because we've known this for so long.
Right.
And if people just believe survivors, we wouldn't be in this position to begin with. Please take care of yourself, turn these things off. Don't engage with the people who are not actually coming at this with sensitivity and nuance and looking to actually help push this conversation forward so that justice can actually be had. What we're fighting is a system that was built by predators for predators.
Yes.
It's soul-sucking and it's gaslighting and it makes you feel crazy. The truth is that we are going to see change and we are going to find justice in different ways, and it's going to take a really long time. Since my story came public in 2023, there's still so many logistical things that haven't gotten to actually happen because they know how to work the system. They know how to make themselves look like a victim themselves. It's just meant to make you feel crazy. And that's why people end up in really hard positions, and it takes a really strong person to go through this and come out on the other side okay. And I'm so grateful to this Love Army for being in this with me and knowing that you have helped get this to where it is, that you have helped make this story even bigger, and that we're going to keep getting more people to understand that men and boys are a part of this conversation and always have been. Please help these different pieces of the puzzle. My story, please help more.
The saddest part about all this in reality is that the numbers that are reported for men and boys is very, very low. And this is personal experience. So, you know, I have access to the databases, the victim databases and everything. So it's like boys and men feel way more embarrassed to report this. But if you're in any sort of like field where you do therapy or counseling, you run into men that this has happened to all the time. And it's incredibly traumatic when it's another male that's done this to them or their mothers. Less traumatic when they're unrelated for boys. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying in comparison to what I see girls aren't as afraid to speak out as boys. Boys, there's a stigma. Go around other men because they think other men are going to view them as weak. And psychologically for men, that's kind of like one of those vital things. They need the respect from other men, so they don't like to talk about it. So I just wanted to play it. I had it floating in the list. I didn't know when it was going to come up, but I wanted it played for anyone who is watching this that is a man that this happened to them and wants to go get help for it. Don't feel like you can't, because this happens to men just as much as it happens to women. I wish most of the time the men don't want to go public also. All right, they have one more.
If you knew who owned Bitcoin or who started Bitcoin, you had Bitcoin, you couldn't sleep at night.
I don't have Bitcoin.
I know. 100%. And when the real founder of Bitcoin comes out, it is my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me, Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Uh-oh. He kind of looks like Roger Stone.
And a microsecond. If you knew who...
There it is. He said that 12 years ago, and it is now surfaced. Jeffrey Epstein's money helped fund early Bitcoin development. It makes sense considering Bitcoin was the currency of choice for dark web transactions, like buying people. Oh boy, I did not expect Bitcoin to get brought up, and there's a lot of companies. I showed a couple maybe yesterday. This is turning out. This is getting juicy, man. I didn't expect to hear Bitcoin brought up in all this. I wonder how many entities, y'all. I'm sure every area of life has been touched by dirty money. So anyhow, Bitcoin is dropping today, and this got released on TikTok 4 days ago. We just pulled up Bitcoin right now. Oh, it has tanked. Look at it for the week. Yeah. It's just been going down and down and down ever since this has gone out. Yeah. Epstein was a bad, bad man. What I want to find out is not so much Epstein, is who's his controller? Like, who's telling Jeffrey, all right, go after this person, go after that person, invest here, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want finally it to be revealed the very, very top person who's running the world, who is the one with the most power. It's not the one. I can't necessarily say that the most money gives you the most power, because there's many more things that are valuable. In fact, when you pay money for something, you find that item more valuable than the money, or you wouldn't spend it. Texas says deep state equals intelligence community. And it's interesting to see how many dual citizens are across the map with all these things. Jesus. The world is going to change here over the next 10 years. I think Trump is doing a lot of good. But I think it's only a pause for us. I think that these next, 3 years are just going to hold off. It gave us some time to scrounge up the last few bits of people that need to be woke up before. But I think after Trump, it's over with. I think things are going to go off the rails. Yeah, it's, if Trump does it, what Trump did with this Epstein play is brilliant. I mean, he clearly was the informant for the government and knew everything. And the Dems were so desperate to have something to show that like Trump wasn't delivering on. Because you remember Trump said when he campaigned, day one, I'll release the Epstein files. And he didn't do it. So they thought they had ammo. But that was nothing, because what Trump did was make them wait long enough to where they start screaming from the tops of their heads like the chickens, like that chicken meme. And that he didn't do it. And then he said, let them shut the whole government down. Everyone pointing fingers. And then said, all right, release them. So he gave them what they wanted. And if he had just come out the gate in the beginning and released it, they would have said, the Dems would have said he was making up stuff in there, that it was doctored, that any Democrat named in it, he was lying about it. So he had to design it this way. He is playing, forget chess. He's playing fucking Hollywood poker. Las Vegas poker. Like, he had to have them be the ones screaming to release it. So that way they can't take it back when their names are coming out, because they wanted this. If he had done it without the Dems demanding it, he would have had too much to fight back with and too much to prove. But he acted like he didn't want to have it released, and it's got all these Dem names in it. That clearly is showing me how well he knows how to play people. That man knows human behavior really, really well. If that makes sense, the way I explained, the way I see it. Did that make sense? Okay. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. I'm super glad I pushed myself to do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to get on tomorrow night. We'll see how I feel. I'm struggling. Anyway. All right. I love all of you. You guys have a good night.